Hey everybody, it's Clair DeLune with Blues Moon Radio, and tonight we have a special guest, and we are very, very excited to have Big Daddy Stallings here with us. Now, Big Daddy Stallings, welcome to Blues Moon Radio.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I know I'm talking to you from further up the Atlantic coast, but I understand that Columbia, South Carolina was your birthplace.
Yes, I was born right there in Columbia, South Carolina. My father was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina during World War II, and he and my mom met. She's a country girl. Really, she's from Williston, South Carolina.
No kidding.
South of Columbia, but she had moved up there, and that's where she met my father. And they got married, and I was born, and then we moved to North Carolina, to his home, Hobbsville, North Carolina.
And that's in the,
where I grew up.
That's in the eastern, almost the coast. It's just below Virginia Beach, am I right?
Yes, below Virginia Beach, but it's like 30 miles west of Elizabeth City. There was 11 of us, and grew up on a farm, and I'll tell you, we didn't have anything. I mean, we didn't have telephone, television, running water. Didn't have none of those amenities. But we made it. But that's one thing. When I tell people that I am an original, I am original. That stuff is true. So I understand a lot of these songs that's out here. It makes me who I am today. Tough.
Tough times, I'll tell you. Well, what did you all grow on this farm?
Oh, we grew cotton, corn, peanuts. We didn't raise any tobacco there.
Because that's tobacco country, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, you go a little further south from where we were, and there was a lot of tobacco and all that. But the farm I was on didn't raise it. And like I said, corn, cotton, peanuts, all kind of animals, pigs, cows, horses, mules, all kind, whatever was on the farm, ducks, chickens, you name it, we had it.
And how old were you when you decided to leave?
Well, I didn't decide. Uncle Sam decided for me. And in 1965, he sent me a long letter, told me to report right where my father met my mother, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And that's what took me away from home. And I hated it at first, but now I'm glad I did, because I got to see a big portion of the world. But when I got in the Army and I got off that train there in Columbia, South Carolina, and the bus picked us up and took us out to Fort Jackson, yes, there's another world out there. And I was in France for 1 year. That's when de Gaulle had told us we had to leave. And so I was there hauling out all the mines and all that stuff that explodes. I was one of those drivers hauling it to Bremerhaven.
That's quite an experience.
You know. But being in the Army, if I may say this, opened my eyes to the world. I got to meet people from all around the world, and when you go overseas and you get to see things for yourself, and two people can look at one thing and both of them see something different. Have you ever been told that before?
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, but that experience opened my eyes, and I tell you, sometimes you need to be drugged away so you can see different things, and I got to meet all these great people from all over the world.
Were there people in the Army that played music? Were you already playing music when you left home?
Yes. Well, now, let me back up just a little bit. Now, the first guy we heard play electric guitar was a guy named Fred Hill from down there in my home. But see, he was from Edenton, about 30 miles south of Hobbsville. But on Friday night, they used to have what they call Friday night fish fry. see, people don't work hard all week, and it's hot, but when Friday night come, they would go to these fish fries, and I was just a kid, and my mom and dad went down, and of course, she had to take the kids because there was no such thing as no babysitter. And so we went down there, and I heard this electric guitar playing. I never heard nothing like that before in my life. And I was just a little kid. I couldn't have been more than 8 or 9 years old. My mom didn't have that many kids because I wasn't that old, but still, oh, there was just something that went through me, and I kept saying, Mom, I want a guitar. I want to play like that. And they were like, you know, how are you going to get a guitar? We barely can feed you. We can't afford this. I didn't know. I'm a kid. But I know one thing. I was going to play a guitar. And he lived like about 30 miles away. And then I was talking to this guy one day, and he told me about this guy, Thurman Buddy Mitchell, that lived about 5 miles from where we were. He played guitar, and he had an electric guitar. So I walked back there to his house and begged him to play something, and he did. And I'm going to tell you, I was just so enthusiastic. But Buddy was a good guy, still is a good guy, still living, him and Fred. And Buddy would play something every Sunday, and I would sit there and just watch his fingers. So one day he said, you really want to play, don't you? And I said, yes. So he went upstairs in the attic and got an old guitar, and said, here. He said, I'm going to show you 3 chords. This is all you need. And he showed me them 3 chords, put my finger on the guitar, how to make them. I went home, and that's all I did for months. And my parents ran me out the house because I was just picking them 3 chords. And so I got on everybody's nerves. So when I went in the Army, let me speed up for, I already was playing the blues. I could play some blues because that's all there was down there. See, we didn't have no real radio, so the only time you would hear anything would be like Jimmy Reed, B.B. King, Muddy Waters. And this is what you listen to, but you go to these, some of them fish fries, if Fred Hill wasn't playing there, they'd be playing them old records. So it was all blues. So I was quick to learn. Here, like I said, with all these guys from all over the world, these guys had a band that I never heard nothing like that before in my life. And of course they called me country boy because of the way I talked and all. And they said, country boy, you play anything? I said, yeah, I play a little guitar. Said, what you play, the blues? I said, yes. I said, there anything else? But see, I didn't know. I never heard jazz. I never heard, none of this new stuff that they were doing. So when I started playing blues, and the people started hollering, so they invited me back to the Enlisted Man Club. And so finally one of the guys said, well, come on and try some of this. Well, I never played any soul music or rock or funk or none of that. I never even heard it. I was quick to learn, and before you know it, I was in the band, and here I am now. God told me, said, let somebody hear this, which was a DJ in D.C. there, 89.3, they called him the Gator. So he took it over there and gave it to the Gator, and the Gator put it right on the air. Song called Getting Old, off my first CD. And from that, it's been a whirlwind.
Now, what year was it when you put that first one out?
The first one I put out was 2004.
Let's talk a little bit about your vision for the blues and your music. Tell us about your style and some of the people you've played with. You've had some amazing appearances. You played with Hubert Sumlin.
Yes. Gosh. Wow. The Nighthawks. But Pine Top Perkins. Yeah, Pine Top was 92 years old when we did this thing over there in D.C. And that was a great experience.
Well, and a lot of the people you've played with have passed away just recently. I mean, Pinetop Perkins and Hubert Sumlin not too long ago, Michael Burks very recently, and I guess the most recent is Magic Slim, who just died.
Yes, yep, Magic Slim, yeah, we was up in Pennsylvania. Magic Slim was a guitar player, so was Michael Burks. When you hear these guys live, it's just like my guitar don't even work when you hear these guys playing.
I remember the first time I met Michael Burks and heard him play, and he just is such a knockout. I've been doing this radio show for almost 25 years, and early on, Hubert Sumlin was one of my first interviews when really not a lot of people were into the blues at that point, and not a lot of people knew who he was, and you could just call him up at home and say hi. I wasn't even introduced, nothing was set up. I just got his phone number and called him, and we chatted and became pals, and he used to tell me stories about Howlin' Wolf, and oh my goodness.
Sure.
So you have a nice list of people that you have had things that can't be recreated, in other words.
Yes, yes. And you know, when I think about that and that these people are now gone, it's just amazing how short life really is. And I tell you, I appreciate every day of being on this earth. I really do.
Do you live in Baltimore?
Yes, Baltimore, Maryland. So
many great bands from up there. That's such a great blues scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Baltimore Blues Society is really strong. D.C. Blues Society really strong.
Well, let's talk about your visit to South Carolina. It's coming up really soon, Wednesday the 26th, and you will be playing at Kiawah Island.
Yes.
So we're excited to have you come into town. And is that your first appearance in South Carolina?
Yes, it is.
Well,
and
that's
I hope
great.
It is what you said at first.
I'm super glad you're coming.
I will be looking for you.
All righty. Well, we will see you there.
Okay.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much for having me.
Appreciate you coming on.